Everyone, welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games for the Game Pass collection, bringing you three unique perspectives from varying skill range. I am the hacker of this episode, Andrew. With me, the one who's gotten banned from multiple chat rooms for inappropriate behavior, Keith.
Jeez, too far. Hello.
And the one whose password is always password, Aaron.
Hello.
This week, Keith picked the game. We played Watch Dogs Legions by Ubisoft. But as usual, before we start, make sure you like, subscribe, give us a review, say hi to us, whatever. Go to our link tree, join our Discord. We always love talking to everyone. So please join us and you come join us on our live recordings here. But anyway, Watch Dogs Legions is a third-person action adventure game where you are playing a member of DedSec who are trying to rebuild their organization because you've been blackmailed for a terrible crime. So you are trying to recruit the citizens of London to fight back against the evil government and take back what is yours, I guess, or whatever is that you hack. But anyway, I guess I'll start this off.
Like your whatever it is you hack. Just whatever, you know.
Yeah, you literally hack anything.
Well, not really. All right. So, Watch Dogs Legions. All right. So, Keith, so I'm not going to blast Keith on this. I was kind of excited for this. I played Watch Dogs 1. I had a lot of fun with it. 2, I only played a little bit of because other games came up, so I never quite went into 2. So I heard of Legion, and I was like, okay. Keith's like, let's play that. I'm like, it'd be nice to go back to Watch Dogs. Let's play it out. I guess you could say, I have the dog in me a little bit. Played a little bit of it. Watch Dogs Legions. Man, this game. I took a screenshot, and to me, this is a nice description of what I think of the game. I hated Watch Dogs Legions. This is congratulations, Keith. You found so far my least favorite game of 2025. I did not like this game at all. This is a hard pass. I cannot believe what they did with the series. Like the first one was fun. I like the main character. And this one is just like, the people are procedurally generated. You're recruiting people that have skills and perks, and you can get a lawyer, a cop, and they have perks to them, but the perks did nothing. The story was awful. I'm going to get more of your guys' perspectives. Well, have you guys played any of the Watch Dogs games?
I have.
I have not.
Okay. Because this was the thing. It's been a while since I played it. This game just throws you right in and starts saying organizations and everything going on. And I forgot for a second. So even me, who's had a history of it, was like, okay, who's DedSec again? What's going on here? But if you're someone who's never played a Watch Dogs game, you're going to be way out of the loop with this. So yeah, the entire time I played this, I kept thinking I'm bored. I'm really bored. So there is some fun to be had here, I guess, if you, I don't know, really have nothing else to do. But this to me is a hard pass.
There was a meme running around the internet maybe about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and it showed like a map of a video game, like just a video game map. And then it's like the next image was like if Ubisoft made the game, and the map is just cluttered with just random icons to a bunch of things. And this game was exactly the equivalent of that. Ubisoft has built this reputation of building these open world games that are just full of nonsense in them, just full of it. They've done it to the Assassin's Creed series. They've done it to the Far Cry series. They've done it to the Watch Dogs series, where they just keep churning this type of game out over and over and over again. And it was shocking how much this game felt like an Assassin's Creed game without being an Assassin's Creed game. It was because they are so copy and paste for them. This is not good. I've never played a Watch Dogs game. There are a couple elements that I didn't hate, but this game was kind of a disaster. This game was kind of a mess. I had plenty of bugs that I ran across. The missions are uninteresting. The voice acting is really bad.
Voice acting. I got a clip coming up for that.
Yeah, it was crazy how just bad this game actually felt, and it didn't need. I just remember how much pedigree the first Watch Dogs game had. Well, it actually started out on a lie. Do you remember showcased that video game when it first came out, and then the game launched and it was like a totally downgraded version of what they had shown. Do you remember that?
Vaguely. Oh yeah. Because the
It was
first one had the Xbox One feature of like you use a tablet, so you could have a person control something with a tablet, like a drone,
and it
and
looked
help you.
amazing. It was like
Yeah.
the most
I
beautiful
forgot
game
about
ever
that.
made. Yeah, so it actually started out on the wrong foot, but it's been able to find a group of people that enjoyed this game. I don't know how you could really enjoy this one. This one for me, this is a pass. This one does not work.
I mean, I'm gonna go out. This is by no means like, oh my goodness, I was loving this game. I will say that it's very possible I didn't get far enough into a pass. I thought it was fine. I immediately, I mean, obviously when you boot up the game, you know, Ubisoft is right in front of your face. But like if you just handed me the controller with the world in front of me, immediately I knew it. Like you can just feel their grasp on the game. And that is always a little bit off-putting. But in a sense, Ubisoft, I feel like, makes games for my brain, which is like, hey,
Real simple.
it's a bunch of stupid little tasks, and it's just like you're running, and then there's just like another one and another one. It's I hate to you know, meme from Family Guy here, Family Guy, but you know that they'll piece of candy, piece of candy. Like that's what Ubisoft games do to my brain. And so I can play them and I maybe won't even have a lot of fun, but I won't really hate it. I mean, I sat and played the stupid soccer mini game for like 25 minutes.
Oh my God. I did that for 5 seconds and I was so bored.
Oh, I was angry.
Left
too,
trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger. That's all that is.
But that was what made it was so simple that when I didn't get it right, it annoyed me. So then I had to play more. So then I got more annoyed because then I was playing annoyed, and I'm not saying it's a good gaming experience. I'm saying that it does things for my brain that at least keep me playing it. So I think I'm willing to be convinced that this is a pass, and because I feel like there's plenty of good reasons for it. I just don't think that I've encountered it just yet. It's just it's a fine game.
I'll defend you a little bit on this, Keith, because this game is kind of a turn off your brain type of game. Like there is, and that is honestly, that is a lot of Ubisoft games for me recently, which is just it's kind of easy to just go along and do a bunch of random things. And this game is good at that. It does load a map up with a bunch of random things. I don't think those random things are good. I think they're all kind of samey. Like, oh, you're going to do a propaganda thing? Yeah, it's the same thing when you're trying to get a freedom fighter out. It's the same thing when you're trying to do when you're trying to paint, when you're trying to do your graffiti. Like, it's all kind of the same thing.
Well, because at the end of the day, you know what I think it is they're all mini games. Like they don't put quests or side quests. Well, there's like a main quest line for any Ubisoft game. There might be one or two side quests, but really all in all, it's a bunch of mini games. It's just
in a way
go around and do a bunch of tiny little stuff. And like you said, it's the same mission repeated 7 different ways, but you go to a different location for a slightly different reason. But ultimately you go and you have to hack that computer or go bust down the doors and take it. Like you're going to do that 100 different times for 100 different people. And that's all there is.
It's literally the same way if you pick up an Assassin's Creed game right now. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have.
I'm going to disagree with you, but I figure we're talking during gameplay. But I think this is actually the least Ubisoft game.
I don't know how you get to that. To me, it's the culmination of a bunch of poor designs of Ubisoft over the years. But if you go pick up the only difference between this and Valhalla, outside of the setting, the only difference is Valhalla has more RPG elements to it. Like if you're playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yes.
So I haven't played Shadows, so I don't want to speak on Shadows. I'll speak on Valhalla because it was the last one I played. But it's a giant map, and there's random fortresses you got to go do things in. There's a billion things to collect that don't do anything, that don't mean anything. Anytime you walk into something, you can see it on your map. There's like 15 things to collect in the area that I do not care about. That was just like Assassin's Creed.
No, but this is exactly what you're saying. So yes, Take any Ubisoft game. Anytime you do it, the map is all red. The bad guys own everything. Usually what you're doing is capturing some sort of outpost, radio tower, something like that. You open up the map. Now you can see objectives and what things to do and how to fight back the resistance. Not in this game. This game, there's core red areas that when you try to recruit somebody or do every once in a while a mission objective will be there. There'll be a procedurally generated mission. Go to this red area. Go to the palace or something like that. And do the objective. Obviously, if you go there, enemies going to shoot you on sight because you're trespassing. But you never capture those areas. You can free a burrow, but it doesn't do anything. Like, this is what I mean. Like, with an Ubisoft game, those, as Keith's saying, oh, piece of candy. Like, I'm with Keith. Like, a lot of those Ubisoft games, yeah, I'm going to get that radio tower because I see what I get. I get a new gun. I get a new vehicle, a new perk.
This does do that, though.
No, you don't. No, it doesn't.
If you hover
complete
over
a burrow,
it
you get a
tells
special person.
Yes, and it tells you get a mission for it.
Yeah.
And then it shows you perks you can get.
You get a unique recruit. But honestly, the perks, to me, I did not feel any of the differences.
The perks suck. This is what I'm saying. It's a culmination of a bad. It's not good. Like, it's a culmination of the worst parts of Ubisoft. And okay, like when you do one of those propaganda towers, you create more freedom in the area or whatever it's called.
But it doesn't do anything.
No, but truthfully, in the other games, it doesn't either. It doesn't do it in Assassin's Creed.
In Far Cry, specifically, like those are the ones I played a lot of. Okay, when you're doing that, more resistant people are there fighting, so there's more.
But Far Cry was
the bad guys.
If I remember correctly, Far Cry was one of the first games to really emphasize that. What was that? Wait, was that a Far Cry game where it was like in Cuba and there were the statues and you would knock down the statues?
Well, that's the latest one, 6. No. You're thinking of Just Cause.
Just Cause, yes. That was cool. That was a cool implementation of it because you could take a bad area that it just becomes a neutral area, and you could slowly see that as you're going out through the map. Yes, this obviously doesn't implement that because it's not a good game, and it does the weakest possible version of it. It's still its core element plays exactly like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. Yeah. It really does. Its core element of you've got a main quest, you can pick up a bunch of side quests, and your map is just full of nonsense. That really doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. The only reason that kind of works on Assassin's Creed is because of the RPG elements. That even if you're doing the side stuff, you're getting XP and you're usually finding gear. This, nope, doesn't have that. Yeah. So it just reduces any reason to go do that stuff. At first, when I was playing this, when I kind of realized I don't really like this side stuff much, I was like, well, I'm just going to power through the main mission. And that was so boring, so uninteresting that I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to go find some random things to do.
I'm just going to run around.
So at that point, I'm just kind of like driving around. I was like, I don't know if I've done one of these missions. Let me try one of these side ones. And then you go in there and it's like, dude, this is just like the other ones. It's a red area.
Yeah.
And
you're sneaking in and hacking something.
Is sneak. Sneak and knock people out, because getting into a shootout sucks. It immediately turns into a mess.
Yeah.
But you're 100% right. It's pointless.
Yeah. I mean, we're already going way into gameplay, but no, we first gotta stay through the routine here. Gotta talk about the story. As I said, the story starts off of this very vague, it took so many years to build England up, and but it only took one night to destroy it, and it instantly throws you in. Doesn't explain who these people are. So, like I said, it's been a while since I played. So it's like, okay, I guess I'm part of the government, like kind of a secret MI6, kind of under the radar. Like the government doesn't talk about us, but we help the government. And you're trying to go in and you figure out, people are trying to blow up Parliament. Oh, that's a big conspiracy. Wait a second. They're trying to frame our organization. Oh no. Obviously, organization gets framed and now you guys are labeled as terrorists. Start the game. That's literally it. Oh, yeah, the government's now authoritarian and dictatorship, and they're executing people on the streets and blah, blah, blah. And it's just this story I got so uninterested in. It irritated me. To me, it felt like it needed another cutscene, like explaining things, like who DedSec are, like what's going on. Because in the very first couple games, I think you're playing a guy, I think your name was like Aiden, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Played the same guy in the first 2 games. And now in this one, it's just like you're not playing any main character because you're playing as procedurally generated citizens. So I'm not attached to these people. At first I got excited because the game gives you the option of, hey, do you want permadeath on? I usually love permadeath in a game. I'm a big fan of like the XCOM games, any of those turn-based, really punishing kind of RPG games. So I was like, oh, maybe this games could be like this. Or like State of Decay. I'm going to build up a character. I really like him and I don't want to lose him. It adds that sort of tension. So I started this game on the hardest difficulty.
Nice.
I lost it within 15 minutes and it straight up deleted the game. No, it actually was like about an hour. I did like an hour and it deleted the game. It said, stop, everyone died, game over. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing that again because I'll be way pissed if I'm like a handful of hours in and it deletes my game. But yeah, I just didn't care about anyone. I didn't care what was going on. The most person you're interacting with is an AI, which, okay, the writing in this
Sassy
game.
AI.
This game, I swear, was written by like a middle schooler. This game was written by someone, I swear, who just learned what curse words were. You have this AI that's asking things like, do you think they use this technology to watch people shag? I mean, why wouldn't they? It's like, why would an AI ask that question? What is this game? This is so weird.
It's becoming sentient. I think like a human. So yeah, maybe it's just going through puberty.
But I hated the story. I felt like they were trying to build up the characters at the beginning of the game. There's one character that's still kind of recurring, but I could care less. I really could. It was so generic.
See, I thought the opening scene was kind of interesting. Like I thought it was kind of, like I thought it was a cool introduction to like a spy story. Now, is it a little bit cookie cutter spy, spy groups and all this? A little bit, sure, but it was kind of cool. I liked where it was going, and the fact that it even kind of cut right to. I don't think I'm spoiling anything because it's in the first 25 minutes of the game or whatever. I don't know if your character dies or whatever, but like you watch your team fail basically. And I don't know, you don't usually there's like this moment where like your character comes in and saves the day and like that's why you're the hero of the game. It's just like, nah, this failed and here's you now. Like so you kind of pick up I kind of liked where it was going. I'm not defending where it goes because I truthfully didn't get far into the story enough to find out, but I liked that opening scene. Right? Yeah.
I was so
I you asked for like our permission.
I was kind of waiting. I was kind of
like it, guys.
It was kind of like, well, a little bit because Aaron's already yelled about it, but I kind of needed. I was like asking Aaron to pick it up. I was like, you agree with me?
I do agree. I thought the intro was okay, because it gave me kind of James Bondy feels. He's in a nice suit, sneaking around, doing some cool spy stuff, and then for me, I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. Kind of like that. I don't care about necessarily the story. It was more just like the setting. And then the rest of the game is nothing like that. On paper, and you kind of understand it, right? Your character dies because the game is built on team building. That's like its core idea. You're not just a character, you're a group of characters, hence the Legion. And on paper, that's a really cool concept. Like it's a really cool idea. The procedurally generated people, kind of a cool idea. But holy smokes, it's paper thin actually building something like that because the characters aren't anything. Like they don't represent anything. Like Mr. Construction Guy is just a random construction guy. Like there's no character background to him. There's no real personality to him. I was talking to Andrew about this yesterday. The whole process of recruiting someone, which is a huge part of the process. Every time you try to recruit somebody and you get to that point, they're always like, all right, well, you need to join DedSec. And you're like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's impossible for me to do it. And they're like, well, if you don't do it, like things are going to go bad. And they're like, okay, I'll join. And it's like, that was it. And it's like that every single time. And then if you play as that character, because you can swap around, that guy's suddenly talking like, yeah, I'm in control of this thing. I'm going to now, like the way he's talking is total confidence, as if he didn't just try to back out of it 5 seconds ago. And that's just the writing there. can't really withhold that. It does not know how to actually deal with that kind of interesting setup. So again, kind of an interesting idea, but poorly executed into the story. It doesn't work for a story.
But wouldn't that just be so easy to just make one main character? Like even that character could still die.
Sure.
And then just make one focal character. And you can still switch around between them and all that, but like,
so they clearly did that in the previous Watch Dogs. This was supposed to be, I think, its next evolution, which is no, the people, the group will rise up. It's not really about one individual anymore. It's about the group. So yes, the way you solve it is by being Watch Dogs 1. That's how you solve it, which is a main character, a main protagonist working through a story. This just doesn't really work that way.
To me, playing this just felt like this was 100% Ubisoft producers just shoving like their face in this game and just touching everything. Because like when I'm playing this, I can see the idea of it, kind of like what you're explaining, Aaron, of like, oh, the group rising up. But to me, I'm like, this just feels like they 100% wanted maybe a games as a service, live, maybe open world multiplayer game, which there is a multiplayer section. But to me, this just felt like a way for them to be like, how can we monetize more? Because you can buy, legendary recruits, which I'll get into that because you at least get one free. And to me, I'm just like, this just feels like they wanted, like the original developers were like, oh, we have maybe this idea. And the developers were like, no. It's gotta be live service. You got to have all these things that people can buy. And to me, it just feels bloated, but paper thin story. And that's what it irritated me.
I would just like to point out that I think maybe 15 minutes ago, Andrew was saying, no, this is the least Ubisoft game I've ever seen. And now he's like, this game has Ubisoft developers just shoving their faces out.
Well,
what is it, Andrew?
The crux of Ubisoft is money.
Is it
They have
overly
always been
Ubisoft
about money.
or is it not Ubisoft? Which is it?
Well, the core, anytime someone talks about a core Ubisoft game of like what you're doing for an activity, those are all single player adventure kind of games. Like I'm saying, this felt like they wanted it to be mainly multiplayer, but then they added the single player thing because it still very much feels like it. Because as I said, you're not freeing any locations. So to me, it felt like they made the multiplayer, just copied that template, put it into single player, and added a paper thin story. That's what it feels like.
I don't know about that. This doesn't scream live service to me. And truthfully, Ubisoft games have not been live servicey. What they are is super heavy on pre-order DLC stuff, but not necessarily on live service. Like they want to sell you a $120 Assassin's Creed game. That's
what about XDefiant, Aaron?
Rest in peace. In fact, I was going to point to that I knew nothing about Watch Dogs. I didn't know anything about DedSec. But I recognize that AI character because, well, that's your voice companion when you play as the DedSec in XDefiant.
Oh.
I thought I had heard that name before. I was like, where have I heard that? I haven't played a Watch Dogs game. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was an XDefiant. Which is kind of crazy to even follow why that game died. It's really because Ubisoft's dying. But really outside of that, and you can maybe argue what's Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six are probably the two that are closest to their live service, but they've really focused on single player games, and they just charge $120 so you can get some cool skins to pre-order the thing. They did the same thing with the Star Wars Outlaws, where it was super overpriced. They had a mission hidden, I think it was a Jabba the Hutt mission.
Yeah.
If you bought the $100 version of the game, that's more Ubisoft. So I don't know if I completely agree with you. I don't know if this was supposed to be a multiplayer game that they added a single player to it. I just think the problem is they've had soulless writing. That's been a core issue in Ubisoft for a long, long time. It's just soulless writing.
But you also got to think this game came out in 2020. So this is before a lot of those things you're saying.
Not really. I think
Rainbow Six was around.
I think this is peak when things were going bad. Because Outlaws didn't do great. They said that lost money.
Yeah, but that came out last year.
in my opinion, the last great Assassin's Creed game was Odyssey. I loved Odyssey. I played that entire game, loved that game. It's a rare single player game. I like practically 100%ed, but I did not like Valhalla. Valhalla sucked. So Outlaws sucked. Watchdog Legions sucked. Like they've been on a really bad run right now. Shadows, from all accounts, is doing okay. Is doing pretty good for him, and it's considered a pretty good Assassin's Creed. I don't know if it doesn't sound like it's blowing the doors off of anything. So this feels like this is probably when they were peaking at their badness.
I forgot about that. Javier pointed out that the other Watch Dogs had multiplayer. I remember in the first one where you could kind of hack people. So it's kind of an open world, a little bit like Grand Theft Auto, but you could kind of blend into the crowd and hack people. I remember that was actually kind of a fun mechanic.
But those aren't live services. Again, those are still not live services. So that's why I genuinely don't think, I think this is what the game was intended to be. I genuinely do. It just was not done right at all. I think they took the idea of Watch Dogs, they wanted to add a wrinkle into it, they forgot to write. And that's been its issue.
Yeah. But so we'll get a little bit more into the gameplay, explaining things. You know, as we kind of said, when you start off, you're rebuilding the organization of DedSec from the ground up. So right away, you have a list of generic NPCs that are procedurally generated. You can pick 3 of them. Each have their own certain perks, certain equipment, gadgets, whatnot. So you could recruit someone who's like expert paintballer. You know, he has a special gun, a unique paintball gun, and maybe he's like, you had him,
yeah.
Yeah. Then there's like freelance writer who maybe has a higher chance of, you know, like losing wanted levels, like these random kind of perks, reduce damage. Maybe you earn some money when you do a hack or something like that. So you pick 3 people, you can switch anytime you want on the map, but you are essentially doing the main story objectives. Go to point A, go to point B, you know, hack a drone. I got to say the thing that really irritated me, they just instantly jump you in. They don't explain kind of how you're hacking. You're just using a phone. I remember in the other ones, they really kind of built upon it of like, you are infiltrating this network and explaining how you're getting more technology. I did not like the hacking puzzles in this games were paper thin to me. And that's what made me sad. I liked the hacking puzzles, the old one. One of the first one, they had these cool kind of, you had to find these QR codes. So it was like a spray painted on the wall, but it was essentially, you had to position yourself, your character, by climbing a certain like area. It was a fun little puzzle. In this, the puzzles were just paper thin. It was look at a thing, click at it, you hacked it. That's it. And so
you had to
hold
me,
it
this
down
game until the circle went around.
Yeah, exactly. Like the hacking puzzles in this game, I did not feel like a hacker at all. It just felt like a really ignored mechanic.
Well, and this is why I kind of go back and say that Keith, like, I kind of agree with Keith's first assessment where this is actually a decent turn your brain off type of game because there isn't any of that stuff. It is kind of click on thing, hit hack, and you're done. So in a lot of ways, it is kind of easy to just go around and do things. It's not very challenging. Yeah, sometimes the most you had to do, which again, this is such a Ubisoft, clicking in the right stick to get like an X-ray vision of things.
Just controls this game. I had
such
issues.
a Ubisoft thing. But when you kind of had to turn on a switch in another location to open the door, and all you have to do is press in the stick. Oh, there it is. I'll just go to that and turn that on. That's as hard as the puzzles got. Was click in right stick and follow red line, make it go blue. And that's it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stealth mechanics I wasn't crazy about. Like,
They're
you know,
fine.
it's okay. It's passable. I'll say that.
Assassin's Creed.
It's better than Adamfall, that's for sure.
You crouch.
But the AI is pretty dumb.
No, they're very dumb.
They're
incredibly dumb.
Like they'll start chasing you, and then you just duck behind something. Like, where'd that guy go? All right, you come out of here. Except they still have a British accent.
I was like, wait, they're New York.
Yeah.
You come out here now.
They are pretty atrocious. In fact, one of those early missions, it was one of the earlier missions, you can kind of jump onto a giant drone. So you can like surf on a giant drone.
Yep.
And you have to fly into an area to pick something up. You pick a server up off the roof or something like that. And I'm flying in, and there's literally a guy standing there on the roof.
Yeah.
A bad guy. And I'm like, oh, do I get to shoot from this thing? I was like, no, you can't. Or at least I couldn't figure out how to. I just picked the server up right next to him.
Yeah, just fly away. You won. Congratulations.
I was expecting there to be some type of like an event there, but no. I just flew by this man just feet away from him.
It's like, whoa,
he didn't
he
even
didn't you shouldn't, hey buddy, you shouldn't be on that.
And once I kind of knew you were apparently invisible on this giant flying contraption, I did a later mission where I got onto one and I'm just dropping bombs on everybody and nobody shoots at me. I'm literally just picking up explosive items, bringing it over to them, dropping it on them. And I literally killed everybody doing it. And I was like, apparently you're invincible on this thing. Nobody shot at me. It was crazy how stupid everybody was in this game. Yeah, the NPC is just atrocious in this.
Yeah, see, that's what I figured out. You could climb the cargo drone before that mission. So I was like, oh my gosh, did I just figure out like a hack in this game? Not a hack, but like a way to cheese missions. But no, they tell you like, oh yeah, you could climb the cargo drone and fly anywhere. So then I was like, okay, can I just drop a spider drone and do the mission for me? Which, yes, you can. So literally, I figured out within the first 2 hours of the game how to cheese every mission. Get a cargo drone, fly above your location, throw a spider drone down, and have the spider drone do the objective. Because if the spider drone gets caught, they destroy it, but they don't care. They don't raise an alarm. They don't look for you. They're just like, we got it. Okay, we're good. And then that's it. I'll just drop another drone and start over again.
There was one time I feel like maybe there is a mechanic kind of Grand Theft Auto style, but like I straight up just stole a car and nobody cared. Like I threw the person out.
Did you notice almost all the cars are not driven by people?
I did notice that.
Yeah.
Well, because there is an auto drive feature, so maybe all the cars are auto drive. But
exactly, they're all empty driving cars that has nobody in them.
Well, that makes me feel, but like I was driving like mad, getting away because there's sirens going. I'm like, oh man, this is intense. I realized I had sirens on top of my car that I had turned on. So I'm racing across this map thinking I'm getting chased.
That's pretty embarrassing.
That's a very Keith moment right there.
But it was in that moment that I realized I was like, wait, again, nobody cares what I'm doing.
Keith's like, this game's fun. Oh man, people are chasing me. It's just him himself.
No,
I've become my 3-year-old. Like, hey, chase me.
Yeah,
no one is chasing you, friend.
Yeah, it's I also wanted to highlight one of the bugs I ran into because this like infuriated me. Because speaking of police, so I gotten one guy killed. So they're like, oh well, hey, if you go recruit an EMT. One of the perks is anybody in the hospital will get out faster. That's great, not a problem. I go to this EMT and he's standing outside of one of the fast travel train stations. I go up to him and I can't really talk to him. And all of a sudden, I guess I bumped into a cop or something, but the cop just starts punching me. So I blast him.
So anyways, I started blasting.
So the guy I'm supposed to recruit freaks out, runs away into the train station. I can't get in there because now I'm wanted. I get into a car. I drive around the block. The cops don't even chase me. It's literally over. I literally drive around the block, go back there, and then the guy's missing. Now I can't get him. He jumped into the train station and I can't get him. And so it's like, okay, well, forget it. I go on with the game. Randomly, I notice that his missions popped up for me. So it's like, okay, well, let me go do the mission. It's just like every other mission. No big deal. Go infiltrate an area, do a thing, hack a thing.
Hack a computer,
guess what?
Yeah.
You did it. So that's like, great. You got him. Go meet him at your HQ and talk to him. I go all the way over there. He's standing outside the bar. I have no ability to talk to him. It's not showing up anywhere. It's usually like Y or something like that to talk. I see he has a DedSec earpiece on already. So it looks like he's actually a part of us. I can't talk to him. I cannot complete this mission. So what I try doing is try like pushing him to see like if I move him out of the way, will that kind of trigger it? Will it allow me to hit this? I always think, look, this is my version of blowing into the cartridge. I just kind of, the mission's broken. I just kind of got to hit some things and I hope that suddenly I can do that. Well, I accidentally punched him. Boom, mission failed.
So anyways, I started blast.
Mission failed. That was it. So I couldn't talk to the guy to start it. I randomly got his missions, did the missions, couldn't talk to him, punched him, failed. That's it. Lost my EMT. Have no way of getting it back. So
I wonder if like, because there's a way like you can like focus on an individual and like add them to the team, like pre-recruit them almost. Like I wonder if that would have triggered it, but yeah, that's
probably the problem is that like that one was one they like gave to me. So I think again, after one of my characters got killed in a shootout, not killed, but put in the hospital. It's kind of like Pokemon. They just faint.
Yeah.
And then it said like, hey, there's actually an EMT over here you should talk to. It was like a yellow icon. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll go do that. Might as well, add more to the crew. And yeah, that turned out to be a disaster. The whole process, it was just bugged. It just gave me no way to communicate with this guy, but it gave me his missions anyway.
Well, that glitch is better than what I had. So my glitch, I played, 3 hours or so doing side stuff, objectives. Great. I'm having a decent time, I guess. I have to go and hack a camera because I have to look into the safe house. Sure, I'm okay. I'm in the camera. I'm at the safe house. Oh, you need to hack that computer at the other side of the room. So normally you can hack another camera and jump around the room so you can get to that location and hack it. I could not hack anything. I was stuck on this camera. I'm looking around, hitting the buttons.
You couldn't hit B to get out?
Nope. Couldn't hit B to get out. Couldn't hack anything.
That sucks so bad.
I was stuck on a camera. I'm like, okay, well, this sucks. All right. Well, I guess I'll just quit the main menu and just do my last save. It did not save. I lost 3 hours of gameplay. It loaded me way back. I was pretty much done. I was tempted to text you guys and be like, I'm not playing this anymore. I just lost 3 hours. I was like, I gotta have this game a fair shake. So I did pick it up again, but that irritated me so badly. This game's been out since 2020. How do I have a bug where I lose 3 hours of gameplay because the game didn't save?
I'm sorry. More than a fair shake.
If the game traps you in a camera, you've given it a fair shake. Like that's kind of all you need to know at that point. Yeah, there was it was kind of it had a bunch of weird hitches like that. Like I didn't run anything that bad. Like obviously punching the EMT kind of sucked. Like I didn't like that, but getting stuck in a camera would really be a level that would piss me off.
Yeah, I had a moment too when I was riding the cargo drone and my character got stuck in the cargo drone and I couldn't get out of it. Luckily, I was able to switch my character, which my character was still floating in the sky. They were just stuck there. And it's just like, all right. But yeah.
I will say I liked some of the, even if they didn't matter for anything, some of the like traits that you would get for characters. Because there was one guy I was looking at. It was like he was a guard at the time that I was looking at him, and he just had flatulence as one of his traits, and it was just that he could be detected because of his parts.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I didn't see that. That's kind of funny.
There was another one where it was like he's prone to just gamble his money away.
Yeah, I have a guy who randomly will just buy clothes. So it's like, hey, you unlocked a new item. A guy spent your money, and I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna buy. I'm not gonna spend money, so I don't care.
Yeah, that was another. That's another thing that sticks out to me. So the items you could purchase, so you can purchase upgrades.
Yeah, with tech points.
With tech points. None of those upgrades were all that interesting or seemed all that useful.
Yeah, the only one is Spiderbot. Get it. This is pro tip. Get a Spiderbot, at least upgrade it to level 2 so it has double jump. Way better. Also, there's another one where if you take down enemies silently, the bodies will turn invisible. That was a little bit helpful.
Hold on. So this is exactly one that what I kind of wanted to harp on.
Okay. So
I saw that and I thought, oh yeah, no, I want to pick that up because it's way easier if you're silently taking people out again because this is Assassin's Creed with hacking. They don't really want you to go into shootouts.
Picking, basically.
Yeah. So I never once I never once ran into an issue where I knocked somebody out and somebody noticed the body and alerted the alarms. Not once.
Oh, they don't do the alarms, but they look around for you. They go, someone's down. We should look. But they look for a few seconds and that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if
so
you're
I-
if you're not standing over the body, they're not gonna find
I
you.
know. Because you
If
knock
you're
them out, you
standing
move on.
2 feet away from the body, they're like, "Hey, did you see who did this?" Like,
Yeah.
didn't
So
do it.
that's why I didn't understand that perk because I was like, why would I use that? Like, it has never gotten me in any trouble. Why would I use that? So why was that a big deal to you, Andrew?
It's not. But it just,
Okay.
I don't know. No.
I love
But at least it's
somebody
semi-useful. Like,
you definitely want
well-
Spider-Bot and that. The other thing doesn't do anything. It didn't help me at all. But that's the one you definitely want.
but this
Yeah,
is
I
the
think
thing
there
that
was even one point I was at a hospital and there was like a doctor who was like, "Oh my gosh, you're scary," and then I ran away and nothing happened. They didn't
Yeah,
tell
that's the other-
anybody.
End of interaction.
They just cowered when I ran by. I was like, "Okay, bye. Do you want to join my team? Team
Yeah.
makes the dream work."
And then he probably went like, no, there's no way I could join. No, you seriously need to. Okay. Because that's
What
about
if
how
you-
those interactions work.
if you don't, the real terrorists win.
Yeah.
Oh, well, when you put it that way, I'm in.
That's pretty much how a lot
Is
of
that
those
what ISIS
conversations
does?
work.
They're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, but no, seriously, like I know you think we're the bad guys, but like everyone else actually is." Oh,
Well, I guess
okay.
I'm in.
I was gonna save it for the audio, but I gotta play my clip. I did do a clip of recruiting somebody, but I wanted to do it with the voice acting. But oh man, this is so. If you're listening to this and not seeing it, this is a conversation between a British spy and a real estate agent. Oh, and then fair warning if you have little kids in the room, there's language.
Help! Couldn't say even if I was. But tell me your problem.
Fucking Clan Kelly wags. They're pagans, man. My dad's being watched in our yard. They're rallying the troops. They broke his arms, man. Both of them.
That's dreadful.
Fucking feds won't budge, even though I know the two dickheads that did it.
If the cops won't help, then you've come to the right people. We'll take care of it.
Worth a shot, yeah? Help a sister out, and I'll owe you big time. Know what I mean?
What is in her hand?
A wine glass. Yeah, that's the thing too. The character is. I think my agent was like 48, and that real estate agent I think was supposed to be like 60.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this dialogue?
He kind of looks like a Wallace and Gromit character.
Yeah.
The teeth. He kind of these goofy looking teeth.
Yeah, the teeth were weird.
Yeah. A whole lot of interactions like that. Just really, really flimsy writing.
To me too, I also didn't quite get the tone of this game because like it's supposed to be very dark of like, you know, people are getting executed in the streets. You're uncovering a whole body harvesting conspiracy, but your group is very much like, oh, our pistols are electric. We only stun people. We only shoot as a last resort, no violence. But it's like this game is also trying to be dark, but also to me just felt like it's just meant to be like a high school anarchist kind of game. But I don't know. The tone of it seemed very weird for me.
I mean, there's fart jokes, so
Yeah, and AI talk
Instant-
about people shagging.
instantly like comedy 10 to 10.
Yeah, my take is that this game is more light than it is supposed to be, you know, taken as seriously. I don't get the vibes that this should be taken all that seriously.
And I was with you until, like I said, the whole body harvesting. You're literally going to an area where they're cutting people open and taking their organs.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit dark.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, but as far as the other gadgets go, to go back to your point, you get like an auto turret that can just sit there. But like a lot of this
You
stuff,
want to be
like,
stealth though.
yeah, you want to be stealth. Like to me,
I guess you get an auto turret if you don't want to be stealth.
I was expecting more mission variety. I was expecting a defend this point. Here comes an onslaught. You know, you got to have maybe some of your other members, maybe your other crew is going to come and help you. You're never interacting with your other crew at the same time, which is also odd. Where a game here is called Legion, but I felt so alone. Like it didn't seem like, oh, if you have more people in your roster, these perks will happen. No, none of that happens. So it's just, it felt, the whole recruiting people felt odd to me.
Or if you had
It's-
like an EMT, a doctor, and a nurse or something like that, like it could create something like some special combo or something like that.
Or like a base building.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing too. Like things like that would make this game better if it was more RPG like. Like if I leveled up these people and they got perks and things I could select, and I could
We still
grow to
haven't
love
done
these characters and
Ayuden
build them.
Chronicles.
What?
We still haven't done Ayuden Chronicles. That's the whole
Yeah.
basis of that game.
That's true. Or like a base management. Like if I had, you need a hospital, you need to recruit a doctor or an EMT, and they can run the hospital unit for you. But there's none of that. So like there's things about this game that it just is so lacking to me.
Yeah, it's just it feels like perfect Ubisoft, where it's just a bunch of half-baked ideas.
Yeah.
And
But
it's just not very poorly executed through and through.
But since we obviously played that clip, the voice acting in this game, as you kind of saw that clip, I hated the voice acting in this game. All the characters, the main characters of the AI and then the other person, what's her name?
I don't even remember her
Simone?
name.
Sabine.
Savine, something like that.
So, yeah.
She pops in every once in a while.
Hacker
But once
lady.
again, there was no backstory with her. So I'm like, do I care about you? I don't know who you are. Because I also too, like at the beginning, one of the characters, when the place is being attacked, they're like, oh, this convention center is gonna get blown up. And one of the characters is like, oh, we got to do something. My sister's at that convention. He instantly gets shot and died. And I'm just like, who was that guy? I don't know. I don't care. Like, it was just like, all right, he's dead. Yeah, the voice acting just did not help me at all. Everyone just has a Cockney accent. Oh, and I brought this point too. Any black male characters were Jamaican. Like, what? Why is every like black male in this game Jamaican? Has a Jamaican accent.
I don't know if I ran across any black characters.
I did.
I mean, one of my characters, the paintball guy, is.
Was he
but
Jamaican?
I don't remember.
Because they're all procedurally generated, right? So they all
Yeah.
they're kind of, and what's funny is like, you can tell they kind of are because you get some wacky designs.
Yeah.
Like some are pretty wacky designs. Like my first main character was pretty weird. I couldn't tell, like, apparently he was really old, but I couldn't really tell. And his voice didn't really match how he looked. And you were like, oh, this is just kind of slapped together.
Which, did you guys look at the Ubisoft store?
No.
So,
Why would I
like
do
I said, they have legendary people you can pay money for, but one of them was free. I don't know if you remember. I remember this game being shown at E3. And of course, everyone went crazy because they're like, you can be an old lady taking out soldiers. Isn't that hilarious, guys? So sure enough, she's a legendary person and she's free. So I saw that. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll get a legendary recruit. Like, how's a legendary recruit play? Awful. She can't crouch. She can't sprint. Her perks are being able to summon a car and something else. I think it was like she had like increased resistance to damage. But like that was it, and I'm like, what was the point of this? I can't.
Hilarious.
I can't, yeah, that's besides being funny of an old lady.
Legendary humor is what that is.
Yeah, being an old lady smacking people with a crowbar, like hilarity ensues.
That does make me wonder, though. That was another glitch that I ran into, but now you're kind of making me wonder if that wasn't supposed to be a glitch. but it had to. It had to have been. So one of my guys randomly just couldn't crouch anymore. He definitely was crouching before, but now you're saying that character couldn't crouch?
Yeah, the perk specifically was called like low mobility.
I see this one. Yeah, this one. He was like the construction worker guy.
Yeah,
He definitely could crouch. Randomly, I was in the middle of a mission, and I'm like, oh, I can't crouch anymore. He will not do it anymore.
he aged and got that perk.
So
my back.
of course, again, as I've stated earlier, now that I ran into that issue, I just started punching things to try and get myself to crouch again. You know, I'm like, I just got to start moving things and punching things, and
Punching
then
your back.
eventually, the game will realize that it was broken and it will fix itself. That's kind of the logic that runs in my mind.
It's
Makes
not
sense to
logic.
me.
No, it failed me a mission. So
It's almost like my playthrough of Avowed, where it gave me the option to shoot. I'm gonna shoot.
you're gonna shoot it. That's essentially my issue with dealing with bugs.
But that's the other thing too. Music was also very lacking. I remember in the first one, it had a decent soundtrack, and that was one of the things you could collect. Was you could hack phones that had songs on it. So then as you're driving around, like, oh, hey, you could play more music. But I didn't feel like I was driving a car that often. So I didn't hear much of the music. None of the soundtrack was that catchy.
The soundtrack is just edgelord music.
Yeah.
It was all British rock and punk is what it was. And that was trying to hit its vibe.
Yeah.
That was the vibe. Although I did run into one nicer car that played a lot of electronic music. So they are real artists. It does show you down in the corner the name of the track and the artist in there, just like it would in GTA. So it was real bands. So I guess that's kind of cool. I don't know, maybe a couple of the songs weren't awful. I recognized at least one of the bands. But that was it. I didn't recognize anything else.
See, I felt like in the first one I was driving way more because the hacking in the first one was better too. Because whenever you're driving, you could activate things. So like if you're going through a stoplight, you could change the stoplight so traffic will start flowing and maybe hit the cops that are chasing you.
Or you can do that a little bit. You can. There's like the traps or like the roadblock barriers.
Yeah, there's like raised roadblocks you could do, but it did not work as well.
I'm not saying it was like a great system, I guess, in comparison, but yeah, you definitely could do that.
Yeah.
Real quick, there was one song that it's actually really funny in this. I don't know why it cracks me up. It's called Porcupine or Pineapple. And literally the lyrics are porcupine or pineapple, porcupine or pineapple, porcupine or pineapple, youch.
Wait, that was like a meme for a while.
I mean, it's a band called The Breaks. Apparently that came out in 2006.
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking the pineapple.
Are you thinking of Mushroom?
No.
Badger.
Pen guy.
No, so this song popped, like I saw the title pop up and I said porcupine or pineapple. And then sure enough, the lyrics were just like porcupine or pineapple, porcupine or pine. I was like, what the heck is this? This is awesome. So that song
lyrical depth.
That song did rule. So I was kind of into that one. So if there is one that I would say is worth checking out, it's Breaks, Porcupine or Pineapple.
Duly noted.
Yeah, well, I gotta give this game its flowers. It's where it deserves them, and that song definitely did. And that was it.
You show your respect.
Yeah.
Well,
that one it did hurt it.
Well, the one place I'll give it flowers is graphics. I thought graphically, the world looked nice. Characters were a mixed bag.
I'll give you that.
Yes, but I thought graphically, the world, like the weather effects, the actual environment, not bad. Did it make me want to explore this world? No, but I thought graphically it actually looked pretty good.
Well, because you can put together good graphics, but still in a boring environment, right? And yeah, I think that's what they have is they have a boring environment that you don't really care to explore, other than to, I guess, find maybe some collectibles if you want to collect that trail of things. Otherwise, it's nice to look at while you're playing.
The other problem is like it's a beautiful game, but the environments feel lifeless. If I were to define this game, it would be lifeless. I think our characters are lifeless, the dialogue is lifeless, the missions are lifeless. It's a whole lot of lifeless. So even though you're in a nice kind of looking city, like it's a pretty good looking version of London, even just the NPCs moving around just feel like NPCs. And we've come such. Yeah, see?
Sorry, I was just gonna play it softly in the background while you were talking.
It was fun. That was a cool song. I actually like that song.
I actually remember it now. Playing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, like I didn't run across that one. Yeah, we're right now, for anyone not watching us right now, we are currently looking at the Watchdog Legion's radio tracks currently on Spotify. So if you do want to check that out, that does exist there.
Oh, it's good. Jamiroquai, it's good.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's just a bunch of British artists. They basically
Jamiroquai's British.
Huh?
Jamiroquai is British?
Probably. He's got a funny hat.
That's true.
Like it's a British thing to do, you know? Man, there's a lot of music on here.
Are you sure this is the official soundtrack?
Because this seems like
because
a ludicrous amount. It's got to be.
There's no way
This
they
is where their
licensed all
budget
of
went.
this music.
Their budget went into picking up all of these artists.
95 tracks. They did have classical music. They had some Mozart. I did like that.
Yeah,
It's the official soundtrack.
I mean,
Uh,
I would guess. Looks like it.
based on the list by Rock Paper Shotgun. So I guess technically not official, but
Yeah.
obviously because I mean, Ubisoft I don't think could create a official Ubisoft like a
Probably
soundtrack
not.
because these are all paid artists. But obviously these all exist on Spotify. So yeah, a user here created it.
Interesting.
Okay.
Sorry, and I kind of ruined your thought on graphics.
Oh no, you're totally good. But my whole greater point was the NPCs in general. If you were to tell me this was an Xbox 360 game, I would say yes. This feels like an Xbox 360 game because of how the NPCs acted. Nowadays, there's too many games with really good NPCs. You just can't have the
I mean,
game feel that
GTA had-
lifeless.
GTA 5, 4, whatever the most recent one. That
5.
The one, yeah, 5 had better NPCs, and that was what, like 2012. Like
Maybe
their
Maybe
living
you're-
environments just felt so much better.
lived in.
No,
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Yep.
You brought up another point I really wanted to gripe about, Aaron. Thank you, because you mentioned Xbox 360. The loading at the beginning of this game is awful.
Yeah.
When it says logging into your account, so many times I'm like, is this game frozen? It is a good 30 seconds just to get to the main menu. Once you get to the main menu, it's quick to load the game up. But that weird logging into your account is so long. I don't know. But yeah, graphics, yeah. So as far as achievements go too, okay. I only got like 3. I saw Keith, you did one for that soccer. Oh yeah, because we didn't even touch base on the mini games. That soccer, I did it
didn't touch 'em.
once. Literally the first goal was, juggle the ball for 60 times. Left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger. I did that once. How much did you have to do to get the intermediate, Keith? Was that like 200 juggles? Because like I don't know.
Well, it's
I'm so bored.
no, so it's not 200 juggles. It's 200 points, and it's
It's
the
1
way
point
it's-
per juggle.
no, it's not. I think it starts at like 3 or 4, and it's one of those things. It goes 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7, and then
Oh, mine
So-
wasn't doing that.
so that
First.
you want to try and hit it within that little green bar, and as you're doing that, the green bar shrinks and shrinks and shrinks until it becomes purple, and then you do like these little special tricks, and if you start comboing those, it starts at 30 points, 40 points, 50 points, and that's where you start to rack up a whole bunch of points for those higher ones. But the ones where it was tricky is a couple of them. I know my soccer.
But
this
Keith
is
doesn't
soccer.
know soccer mini games. Keith knows pointless
don't-
things that are not the main game.
I don't know anything about soccer as a whole, but I know soccer story and I know the soccer mini game here. But yeah, there's a couple of them that are like, oh, you have to do it for 30 seconds. But still, really, at the end of the day, your goal was to kind of get to those special tricks because it would go to a little like 2-second cutscene each time that they would do the trick. So that would just rack up your time without having to play. But yeah, it was simple. It was mindless, and it annoyed me because it was so super simple, and I just couldn't get it right that it annoyed me, and it just prompted me to just keep trying it over and over again until I got at least to that intermediate level.
But yeah, achievements are fine. There is an achievement to beat the game on the hardest difficulty, so that is why I first started with that. I don't recommend it because it will delete your game if you lose everybody. So be fair warned that you could lose all your progress. If you played this game before and you know what you're doing, it's probably not. It's not that hard. I just felt like enemies were chasing me all the time. But yeah, so let's wrap it up here. As far as my final thoughts go, Watch Dogs Legion, as I said, is a hard pass for me. You know, just anytime I was playing this game, I was like, I would just rather be playing just about anything else. It just didn't do anything interesting. Usually Ubisoft games can hook me enough with a mindless breadcrumb trail of unlocking things. I just didn't feel like I was getting anything out of this. I didn't feel like I was unlocking much. I didn't care for the characters I was recruiting. The story wasn't hooking me. I felt like this game just stripped a lot of the things I liked about Watch Dogs. Like the hacking just seemed so bare bones. So for me, just playing this just made me sad. Like, it was just a sad time. There's very little things about this game I could give praise for. I would highly recommend playing Watch Dogs 1 or 2, but just this one, you can easily overlook it. I even tried playing online, completely dead. I tried doing a co-op mission. I waited 5 minutes and I couldn't find a partner. So I don't even think you can do online anymore unless you have a personal friend you're playing with. But this is a 60.
I still think I'm gonna keep this on the side of a game, and maybe again I just didn't drag my hours to a point where I got miserable with it. But I still think at the end of the day, this does enough of the Ubisoft things that make me go, this is a fine game. I would play this if it was like the only option I had for some reason. Like, back in the old days when you bought games because you didn't have Game Pass and you didn't have all these games at your disposal, or the amount of free to play games on top of that. Like, games are just so easy to come by these days that personally I don't buy a lot of them. But if I do, I feel like I'm like, all right, I gotta play this, and there's enough that I would get my time into this if I found myself buying it. But that said, it's not great. It's not anything special in any way, and I wouldn't even try. I really don't even try to defend it. I just don't dislike it as much as Andrew did. Personally, we didn't even talk about the whole zombie mode that's in there, which is one of the online co-op games. I did get into a game with somebody on that one. It was one person, and I think they left after 5 minutes. So it wasn't a great experience. But there's a zombie game because of course there is. That's just a thing games do. You have guns. Why not throw in a zombie survival mode? I think I would. What did I give Adam Fall? Because it's got to be less than that.
I
Or
think
better
you're like
than
a
that.
67.
I did. I was gonna say like a 71. I think is fine for Watch Dogs Legion for me. Watch Dogs Legion.
I don't know. Who cares? I'm gonna keep mine. I'm gonna keep mine relatively short.
Whatever. This game sucks.
I'm gonna echo almost everything Andrew said, but I'm gonna add just 2 changes to that. To me, the best Ubisoft game made in the past handful of years, because I can't say I've played every single one of them, is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So if you haven't played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that is the best version of a Ubisoft game, in my opinion, right now. It would have been X-Defiant. May they rest in peace. But the only redeeming quality to this game, and the only reason why I'm going to give it the score I'm giving it, is because of Porcupine Pineapple. If not for that song, this game has practically no redeeming qualities to it. It is a 48.
Had a 48.
48. I mean, what?
I don't disagree with you, Aaron. I just
What am I supposed to get?
because to me, I'm like, I mean, if you haven't experienced a lot of video games, you could maybe find some fun with this game. But
If you are fine turning your brain off on this thing, and that's the experience you want to have, I think you can have a decent time with this. But if you want to actually just enjoy yourself and maybe even challenge yourself, this is just miles away from that.
I mean, it's a wildly different experience, but truthfully, comparatively enough, I still would say if you want this type of experience, because I think it's still on Game Pass, was it Shadows of War? Whatever the I mean, it's team building, it's open world, but man, is it so much more fun than this.
yeah, rest in peace, Monolith.
Yeah.
True.
That studio just
So
closed.
what happens to that?
It's copyright. It's owned by
People are
Ubisoft,
trying to buy
Warner
it up.
Brother.
There's a
owned
lot
by
of
Warner
talk
Brothers.
of people trying to buy it up, that Nemesis system.
Yeah.
So that's been the rumor, is that the Nemesis system's kind of up for grabs because
Just
Warner Brothers not doing anything with it.
Don't just buy it, license it. So multiple, it could be done well. And so
But that's what Warner Brothers did. It's licensed, and that's why no one wants to pay for it.
So what they claim is that in the now canceled Wonder Woman game, it was supposed to have the Nemesis system in it. So the Nemesis system was supposed to be in that. So we were supposed to get an updated version of that, but that one's dead too.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Like I said, please, go to our link tree. I'll have it at the show notes. Join us on our Discord, YouTube. I'll try to be putting these episodes up, even on Spotify. We're trying to switch in. So we're trying to transition a little bit. So trying to get more outlets here so people can watch stuff, not just on YouTube. If you are listening on Spotify, as most of our listeners do, please feel free to comment. I always love seeing the comment section. I love recently Adam Dechnik commented in our State of Decay 2 episode that he liked the camera because of auto locks while driving. So then he can vape while driving. To me, that sounds like such a Liz comment of being able to eat snacks.
Yeah.
It just kind of
snacks.
Yeah. But I always love when people comment on old episodes because a lot of times I'm like, oh, I forgot we played that game. So thank you everyone who writes comments on the episodes. It's always a great time to read. Make sure you also leave us a review, or you can write us an email. I always love hearing from our listeners. Enjoy our Discord. Like I said, most importantly, because the more you interact with it, we give away prizes. I just finally sent out some mugs to some of our listeners. I've been sitting on them for so long, but
and now we're at 300 episodes, so
you got to create a new mug.
Mugs.
Maybe, Keith. But anyway, thank you all. I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird0952.
I'm Aaron. Don't find me. Mind your own business.
I think I was a listener request this week. 99. Always room for improvement. Not a perfect 100.
I know you didn't mean to, Keith, but you somehow just find these games. It's a talent. All right, everyone. We love you all. We'll see you next week.
All right. So South Midnight's next.